Title: The Haunting of Tight Jeans Hollow. In the quaint town of Willow Creek, Halloween night was a much-anticipated event, where ghosts and ghouls roamed the streets, and pumpkins grinned mischievously on every doorstep. This year, 5 best friends, Brad, Paige, Mary-Kate, Caitlin, and Ashley, decided to wear their most daring outfits. Tight jeans that hugged their curves and complemented their adventurous spirits. As twilight descended, they gathered at Brad's house, excitement buzzing in the air. Costumes adorned with glitter and spooky patterns danced in the warm glow of the porch light, as they discussed their trick-or-treating plan. "Here's the map," Brad declared, unfolding a paper stained with candy smudges that marked the best houses in town. "Let's hit the old Miller place," Paige suggested, pointing at a dark, foreboding house at the edge of town. Legends spoke of witches and ghouls lurking there, and the thrill of fear only added to their excitement. As they ventured into the night, the air grew cooler, and the trees whispered secrets. Laughing and teasing one another in their tight jeans, the girls felt invincible. With every door they knocked, candy poured into their bags. Ghosts and goblins darted past them, and for a moment, they forgot all worries. Until a strange noise echoed from the Miller house. "Did you hear that?" Caitlin whispered, her eyes wide with fear. "It's just the wind," Ashley reassured, but her voice had a tremor. As they neared the house, a sudden gust of wind sent shivers down their spines. "Let's just take a peek," Brad urged bravely, leading the charge. The door creaked open, revealing a dark hallway that seemed to stretch endlessly into the shadows. "Maybe we should turn back," Mary-Kate said, her voice shaky as she clutched her bag of candy tightly. But curiosity drove them forward. They entered, flashlights flickering against the damp, peeling wallpaper. The light illuminated strange shapes on the walls, suggesting the remnants of past lives. "Look at those old brooms," Caitlin joked, nervously, pointing to dusty corners. Suddenly, a chill swept through the room, and they heard soft whispers float from the depths of the shadows. "We should go," Ashley said, her heart pounding, but their feet were glued to the floor by an unseeable force. The lights dimmed, and a chilling figure emerged. Spectral figures of witches and ghosts danced in the air, surrounding the group in a haunting swirl. Panic gripped Paige as the girls backed away, their tight jeans making movement difficult. "Stick together," Brad shouted, trying to remain a leader amidst the chaos. They turned to escape but found the exit blocked by a massive, translucent figure, its eyes glowing eerily. The air grew thick with fear. In a moment of inspiration, Brad remembered the salt they had used earlier at their camping trip, which supposedly could ward off spirits. "Quick, find a way to use it," he urged. "Wait. The candy," Caitlin exclaimed. They rummaged through their bags until they found a pack of gumdrops rolled at the bottom. "Maybe the sugar can distract them." With newfound determination, Paige grabbed the handful of gumdrops and flung them at the ghosts. "Take that," she shouted. The sugary projectiles burst against the spectral forms, and as they dissolved into a cloud of sparkling sugar, the spirits began to disperse, chasing after the candy. "Run!" shouted Mary-Kate, and they dashed past the bewildered figures, slipping out of the house and into the moonlit night. Gasping for breath in the safety of the street, they shared relieved laughter, their hearts still racing. "That was insane," Ashley exclaimed, her eyes shining bright with adrenaline. As they stumbled onto the porch of the nearest house, they couldn't help but feel a bond rekindled from that scare. "Best Halloween ever," Brad declared, and the group high-fived, adrenaline rushing through their veins. The night air buzzed with the remnants of their frightful encounter, and as they continued trick-or-treating, they found joy in the simplest things. The thrill of adventure, the sweetness of friendship, and the laughter shared in the face of fear. The shadows might lurk, but their spirits were indomitable. With a collection of candy and memories, the group returned home, hearts filled with gratitude for the night's adventures, an ember of excitement glowing within them long after Halloween faded into the distance. In a town where legends breathed life, the girls in their tight jeans had conquered one of their greatest fears together. Title: The Battle for New York. A Tale of Ghosts and Onions. In the heart of New York City, where the skyline kissed the clouds, four friends found themselves tangled in a web of supernatural chaos. Brad, a daring adventurer with a penchant for mischief, was joined by Paige, a fiercely loyal friend with a heart of gold. Mary Kate, a dreamer with a flair for the dramatic. And Ashley, a pragmatic thinker who always kept the group grounded. They were enjoying a sunny afternoon, munching on kettle corn, when the ground beneath them trembled. Suddenly, the Empire State Building came alive, its windows glowing with an eerie light. It roared to life, its bricks shifting and groaning as it prepared for battle against the Statue of Liberty, which had transformed into a vengeful witch, her torch ablaze with fury. The city was caught in the crossfire of their epic confrontation, and chaos erupted as the two titans clashed for control of New York. "Guys, we need to do something," Paige shouted, her eyes wide with fear. Mary Kate and Ashley nodded in agreement, but before they could formulate a plan, a massive tree fell from the sky, crashing down onto Brad. The impact sent shockwaves through the ground, and the girls gasped, momentarily distracted by the spectacle of the battle raging around them. "Brad!" Caitlin cried, her voice barely audible over the cacophony. But when they turned back, all they saw was the tree, its branches swaying ominously. Unbeknownst to them, the tree was no ordinary tree. It was an onion, a guardian sent from above to save humanity. As the girls searched frantically for Brad, the onion began to weep, its tears cascading down like rain, flooding the streets of New York. Meanwhile, Brad found himself in a dark, fiery realm. Hell. The tree's fall had knocked him down, but it had also knocked some sense into him. He stood up, fists clenched, and confronted the devil, who laughed menacingly. With a swift punch, Brad sent the devil crumbling into pieces, but he knew he had to escape this infernal place and reunite with his friends. Back in New York, the onion sensed the despair around it. It tried to call out for help, but no one listened. In a moment of desperation, it began to destroy itself, hoping to save the city from the flood of tears. As it disintegrated, its toxic fumes spread through the air, reaching both the Empire State Building and the Statue of Liberty. They began to cry, their tears mixing with the onions, creating a deluge that threatened to drown the city. As the waters rose, Brad dug a hole in the ground, channeling the flood into hell. He held his breath, waiting for the torrent to subside. When the last of the water flowed in, he climbed out of the hole, gasping for air as he stepped back onto the dry streets of New York. Brad, Paige, Mary Kate, Ashley, and Caitlin shouted in unison, their eyes lighting up as they spotted him. They rushed toward each other, embracing tightly, relief washing over them. "What happened to the tree?" Brad asked, looking around at the remnants of the chaos. It was an onion, Ashley replied, her brow furrowed in confusion. It tried to save us, but before she could finish, the ground trembled again, and the remnants of the onion began to glow. From its ashes, a soft light emerged, illuminating the area. The friends watched in awe as the spirit of the onion rose, a guardian of hope, reminding them that even in the darkest times, there was always a chance for redemption. As the city began to heal, the Empire State Building and the Statue of Liberty stood tall once more, their battle forgotten. The friends, united and stronger than ever, knew they had faced the unimaginable and emerged victorious. "Let's get some kettle corn," Brad suggested, a grin spreading across his face. And as they walked away, the spirit of the onion watched over them, a silent guardian of New York, ensuring that love and friendship would always prevail, even in the face of horror. Title: The Onion of Destiny. I never thought a day in New York could turn into a whirlwind of chaos, love, and supernatural battles. My name is Brad, and I was just a regular guy, hanging out with my friends. Paige, Mary-Kate, Ashley, and Caitlin. On a sunny afternoon, we were all dressed in our favorite tight jeans, feeling confident and ready to take on the world. Little did we know, the world was about to take on us. As we strolled through Central Park, munching on kettle corn and laughing, the sky darkened ominously. Suddenly, the Empire State Building began to tremble and shake, its windows rattling as if it were alive. In a shocking twist, the Statue of Liberty, with her torch raised high, came to life, her eyes glowing with a fierce determination. They were battling for control of New York City, and we were caught in the middle. "Look out!" Caitlin screamed as a massive gust of wind swept through the park, sending us tumbling. I barely had time to react when a colossal tree fell from the sky, crashing down and pinning me to the ground. My friends were too distracted by the chaos to notice. "Brad!" I heard their voices echoing in the distance, but the weight of the tree was too much. I felt myself slipping away, darkness creeping in as the battle raged on above me. In that moment, the tree transformed into an enormous onion, its layers peeling back to reveal a glowing core. Just as a tree cutter approached with a chainsaw, he dropped it in shock and fled. The onion, sensing its fate, began to weep, its tears flooding the streets of New York. Meanwhile, I found myself in a strange place. Hell. The air was thick with despair, and I could see the devil lounging on a throne of fire. Fueled by anger and desperation, I punched him square in the jaw. To my surprise, he shattered into a million pieces, leaving me alone in the fiery abyss. Time froze, and so did hell. I dug a hole, hoping to escape, and as I did, the water from New York poured into the depths, flooding the underworld. I held my breath until the last drop fell, then climbed out of the hole, gasping for air as I emerged back in the city. New York was dry again, but my friends were nowhere in sight. Panic surged through me as I scanned the area. Then, like a beacon of hope, I spotted Paige, Mary-Kate, Ashley, and Caitlin. They were standing together, eyes wide with relief. "Brad!" They shouted in unison, and we ran toward each other, embracing tightly. I felt the warmth of their love wash over me, and in that moment, I knew we could face anything together. "What happened to the tree?" Ashley asked, glancing around. "It was an onion," I replied, still trying to catch my breath. It tried to save us, but it was too late. Just then, the ground shook again, and the Empire State Building and the Statue of Liberty began to cry, their tears mixing with the remnants of the onion. The city was flooded once more, but this time, we stood united, ready to confront whatever came next. Together, we can save New York, Paige declared, her eyes sparkling with determination. As we joined hands, I felt a surge of energy. The love we shared was stronger than any supernatural force. We would find a way to restore balance, to bring peace back to our city, and to honor the sacrifice of the hero onion that had tried to save us all. With our tight jeans and hearts full of hope, we set out to face the challenges ahead, ready to reclaim our city and our lives, one adventure at a time.